Alrighty. Good morning. Good morning. It has been a long time. I hope you guys haven't missed me too much. I mean, I hope you'd have, but I hope you found other things to occupy your time. Um, as you can see, I'm feeling much better. Went through a couple of weeks of really bad yuck, but got to see the specialist last week, and then went to a physiotherapist, which I have another appointment on Friday, but things look to be headed in the right direction. So I'm hoping that this is not a premature step in restarting the stream. Um, those of you that know me in game have probably noticed I haven't even logged in to WildStar all that much these past weeks. So it's really a big step for me to get back into it because I've been kind of just out of the loop. Good morning, Poi and Aurora, and I think Maddie's around, and anyone else that happens to be lurking. Let me put my tweet out real quick before I forget. I am out of the habit. I'm totally messed up with my controls, so forgive if this does not go as smoothly as it usually does, sort of. Um, but before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who sent their well wishes and support and just showing your guys' patience with me as I went through this whole ordeal. Um, I know I often say I'm the sickly one, and you can tell I have not exaggerated that proclamation because it is definitely true. Um, and it's one of those things, if I get sick, it's like I get the really either weird sick or the really bad sick or a combination thereof. So um, it's just one of those things that when I get it really, it knocks me down and it takes a lot to get me back up. So I appreciate your guys' patience and all that. So today's order of business is to catch up on the CBDC from last month. January's theme was New Year's resolutions, and thankfully, we had quite a few participants, even a couple on NA side, so that was nice. And I had intended, the schedule had been set that we were going to do the showcase last week and kick off February's at that time as well. But due to circumstances, that did not come to fruition. And of course, we did miss a couple of weeks of house tours, which is the first time in over a year and a half that I have actually missed doing a weekly house tour. I was extremely upset, but with my husband supporting me and encouraging me to just let it go, um, we have moved on. So the 100th episode that we had planned to land probably early April will probably be pushed back a couple weeks, but that's no biggie. Um, Morning Bones, nice you could join us. And so yeah, it's gonna be a little bit getting back into the swing of it. I have not really given housing much thought while I was sick. So I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do from here on as far as building. I had some ideas before I took the break, and they just kind of went out the window. So I'm going to see if I can pick up where we left off. But of course, like I said, today is getting caught up on the CBDC from last month. So we're going to be doing the showcase today. Of course, I will be tweeting out some screenshots of everybody's projects, and I will be posting those in the forum later. It'll just probably take me a little time to get it all collected because I think I was waiting on Maddie's plot to open up because it's a new plot, and Maddie just hadn't got around to it when I did the screenshots for everyone else. So I got to get that today, and then I'll be able to post everything. And I had thought to maybe wait on announcing February's theme tomorrow, but I think I'll go ahead and do it today. It just may take me a little bit longer to get it all set up in the forums for those that don't watch the show. So we'll probably cover that at the end of this session. Okay, so we're starting on NA side, their region. This is Shizniz's plot, Shizniz, the Grand Nizzle Station. You might also know them as chosen blades. I think they go by blades from the forum. Um, this is the resolution for learning to dance. You can see I've kind of already come into the structure. This is actually inside the bunker house if you decide to visit in person. Um, it's a little tricky if you don't know where you're going. Basically, when you come in onto the plot, there's a train station. If you go under the train and down the wall a bit, you'll see a crack in the wall, and that'll lead you to the Osun house. That is the, well, I said bunker house, but I think it's an Osun house. But that'll lead you to the interior. I just kind of jumped ahead and got to where the jukebox is. That's their presentation for the resolution of Learn to Dance. They've set up this little jukebox, and they've got a couple of dancing chua, and of course using a lot of the new coloring and retros pieces and everything to make this nice little bar area. Of course, we're just here for the project itself, not the full plot. This is probably a place we'll come back to later when we do a house tour of some sort. But I thought it was a really nice version of jukebox. We've seen a few. I've made one myself in the past, and it's always fun to see how other people interpret it or put things together. And as with the month previous, with the Winterfest Rise, the mounts, we see a lot of people really getting used to using the Soul Frost pieces. And that's what they've used here for a lot of the piping. You can see that they've done some of the color shifting. They've turned some of it orange and I guess pink. I think it comes naturally as blue, if I remember right. And there's a little bit of graded floor panel here. You've got the detonators, the little light on the side of the panel. Not the blinky light, but the other one. They pulsate like that on the front. They're using the little, I think it's the Exile holographic bust. I think this is the Soul Frost well, and then of course the Dominion bookcase as the main part of the siding there. Hopper. A really cute idea. Again, I've seen some really go into a lot more detail as far as like all the individual uh, like records or discs, lots more buttons and things like that. But it's always fun to see how other people put that into play as far as how much detail they go into. I mean, without even the records and stuff, you can gather that this is a jukebox. It's pretty obvious. So if you can get away with using less detail and still convey what you're trying to, make or represent, then I think that's a good sign of a good builder because, if people have to kind of go, I'm not sure what this is, then maybe there's some things that might can try to improve upon to clarify what the purpose of that object is or whatever. Because like there's sometimes you'll go into a lab or a kitchen, you see an appliance or some kind of apparatus and you're like, I'm not sure what that is. But if people can just kind of at a first glance say, oh, that must be the such and such, then you're on the right track. So I think that's pretty much all that's being used here. There might be, I'm not sure if that's a metal edge piece or the top of a table, or maybe it's a tablet computer that's being used as the very base there, but I think anything of that sort could work probably. And I'm not even sure if they're using, I guess this is a smaller piece of this bit that they're using for the wall. I guess it's some of the floor, like a rug or something, one of those arcade bits, and they're using it as, so they color changed it too, it looks like, so that it's set off against the wall. It doesn't blend entirely. I'm going to go ahead and leave this room because the movement of those things are kind of wigging me out a little bit. So that was Shizniz or Blades from the forum. Next up is me see if I get this spelled right. Jacqueline WildStar. You might know them by Ethel WildStar on EU. Apparently they have characters on both regions. And this one is kind of an unusual, or at least I thought it was until I saw someone else's entry later, but I thought it was an unusual resolution. You know, a lot of people think it's, you know, always losing weight and all this. This one is to learn knitting. I myself have never learned that. I don't think I have the patience for it, but I admire those that have the skill to do it. But they just put this simple little collection of items together to represent the balls of yarn, the knitting needles, the little basket that it's in. So what it is they even wrote down what they used, I think. Yeah, it's a basket of yarn with knitting needles and a finished stocking nearby. So they're using the Winterfest stocking, the empty one, as the representation of a finished item. And then the other stuff, you've got the Drake and Cauldron for the basket, round purple pillows. I presume that's what's on the bottom here. 10 green pillows, so it's like 5 pillows per bundle of yarn. 2 exile pillars, those would be the knitting needles here. And color shifted hanging something, I'm not quite sure what they were. I think it's the hanging wires and cables here. They've got it color shifted to a purple to match the purple down below, and then also a hanging cable coming out to represent like a string of the yarn coming off. So, you know, like I said, when it comes to these projects, you can go as big or as small as you want. It really depends on where you're putting it, how much room you have. And this is a nice little extra detail that makes the home look a little more lived in when you have these little details here, like this little knitting basket and stuff. So that was from Jacqueline WildStar, also known as Ethel WildStar on EU. Okay, so I'm going to switch this so that I can switch regions here. It'll just be a moment. Maybe. Last time I did this, I forgot to switch the regions. I had to close it all up again. Excuse me. Good time for a drink break. Is that where you would do it? I don't know. I guess the porch would be a good place, or like in front of the fireplace or something. You know, someplace calm and quiet where you can just twiddle away on your stuffs. Okay, we're back on EU. Excuse me. So our first visit or stop is Leigh Reynolds's place, Tess Firebrick. Again, I know I'm not like really touring the houses that these little projects are on. A lot of them have already been toured, and if they haven't, they're on my list to be toured, so we'll get to them eventually, I promise. So Tess has got 3 entries here that she worked on. So this is her project for learning, or not learning, but to read more. A lot of people, you know, they always say, oh, I don't have time to read, you know, the books I want to read. They have to actually specifically, consciously carve out a time for them to read those books that they hadn't got around to. So this is their representation of that. They've set up a little library, lots of books. They've even got the little fireplace. Again, it's mostly, I think it's a pillar for the main little tube here. They've got triangle pieces, floor pieces, it looks like, and archways of the Draken version, and then a few little baubles. The fire, I think, is the Falcon fire pit. The little seating bit I thought was really cute. I've not seen one put together this way. We love the hover park pieces, but I think this is the first time I've seen the combination like this. It looks like they're using, I want to say it's a couple of the edge pieces. It's like the one with the really little pointy bit, but I can't really tell. So you'll have to just kind of go through the hover part pieces. There's like over 90 different shapes. So I just gave up on trying to remember all of them. So, but I'm sure you can find them out pretty quickly. Even the table is comprised of those pieces as well. The table, uh, like little, what do you call that, a doily or something? The little cover for it. It looks like one of the fireworks, but I really honestly am not sure. It looks like it might be one of the fireworks that was color shifted to a green. Same way with the rug, just to better match the green pillows being used for the cushioning for the chair. You can see they're using those streamers. In one case, the Exile, and over here they got the Dominion as bookmarks, which I thought was kind of cute. I hadn't seen that before. We've seen people using like the travel posters and portraits and stuff as like for book covers, but I've never seen anyone actually put in a little bookmark like that. So that's interesting. But then this part I think is a bowl, just to kind of give it a little bit of trim. I love the little uh, shade lamp here. It's actually just a lamp post with a color shifted cylinder attached to it. And technically it's not even attached, it's just kind of hanging in midair, but it looks really cute. It's a lot better than the standard shade lamp we have where it's got those bright lights coming off of it. But this looks much more subdued. But yeah, it's little details like the bookmark and the shade lamp and everything that really help pull something like this together. And of course, being able to match certain decor by using the color shift option is a great addition to the housing tools that we have. Um, it's unfortunate that it might be a little out of everyone's reach, depending on where you are as far as how much money you have at your disposal. But I'm happy that the option is there for those that can put it in. I think probably the best way to approach is not to just think, well, I have to color shift everything. Just do it in little bits here and there, and those little accents will be much more noticeable. The second entry that Lay put together is to get more sleep, which I can sympathize on that. I need a lot of that myself. So Lay's put together this very adorable little custom bed, custom nightstands, and the rug and the little chest that goes in front of the bed and everything. It just looks adorbs. So for the carpet or rug, I think it's those bowls again, but color shifted purple. Pink pillows, color shifted purple. And then with purple and green accents, with some of the green pillows being shifted to a purplish color to again kind of blend in with everything. So there's green and purple. The green pillows were shaped into like a little green heart pillow for it. But I like that it was, the blanket is like a giant pillow, and then the pillows themselves just kind of, it makes it look all matchy-matchy. The center of the rug, I think, is just the back side of one of the plates, but because that's all I can think of that's nice and shiny like that and metallic, but it could be something else. You can see that they're using a lot of the dressers. Um, I think this is, excuse me, uh, the fancy wardrobe, the back of it, I think. I honestly am not sure. It looks like they're also using an actual bed and they've just kind of built around it, but it's really hard to tell. Let me see if I can pull that up so we can be sure about the pieces. I think it's wardrobe. Oh, maybe just dresser. Yeah, I think it's this one. And we're seeing the back of it uh, for the headboard. And you can see that they're using Hugel portraits for some of the gold filigree along the footboard and the headboard as well. Yeah, it does. And no, I don't know what the song is that you're talking about. The mattress of the bed, I'm not really sure. I can see this looks like 2x4s here for the framework, but beyond that, I'm not sure. It could be a giant color shifted bit of the snow. Could be just the snow block. It could be one of these gear trophies that they're using for the side tables, which again I thought was a cute idea. It looks like the oh, what's it called? The empty trophy cabinet. It looks like it's upside down, and then use that. But it again, it might be just the other. Yeah, it's just the bottom of this, I think, turned upside down, and then put the the gear trophy on top. Then you've got the little Hugel lamps, which are adorbs. So it looks like the top of a Cassian pillar, and then two different Hugels, one stacked atop the other, with the orange yellow sconce, and then some triangle pieces squished together with another pillar, but smaller, and then color shifted green, again to match with the color scheme of the rest of the materials. Yeah, we know you love the Hugel portrait, Aura. Same way here. I think this is, close that up. I think this is the dresser, smaller one. I think it's this one here that we're seeing for the little chest in front of the bed. And then again, looks like a Hugel portrait for this little part where the lock would be. But a very cute bed. Nice scale as well. Not too oversized. A lot of folks, when it comes to certain things, especially when you got a big empty space to fill, it can be easier or more tempting to oversize things. But this looks like a good scaled piece of furniture. And the last one that Lay put together, which I thought was very clever, was the wanting to learn French. So Lay really went all out on this one. So you've got a makeshift table, which is 2x4s, and then Merg dynamite for the legs. Now you have to ignore these parts here, but that gives you a clue as to what piece they're using for the emblem or the little French flag colors on the book. It's basically upside down gear trophies, color shifted to match the colors of the French flag. You've got a little croissant here. I can get a better view of it. It's just, I think it's sandbags being used, or no, it looks like grain sacks being used for the bread. It looks like four of them, 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is about 5. Nicely then to make a little croissant there. We've also got a little pin. They went through the trouble of making a pen cap with the little pen tip, taking the notes. Even color shifting a little pad here for like a desktop protector thing. I think it's a travel poster that's been color shifted. Again, doing the little lampshade bit, nice touch for, just making your lighting a little different. And in this case, they're using an actual, one of the plants being used as the base of it, a pillar. I think it's the orange sconce again, and then again with the hollow cylinder, just color shifted to a nice little yellow. And of course, we had to have a painting here of the Eiffel Tower. It is a little tricky to get a good shot of it. You have to kind of come in close to see all of the details, because the further out you go, some of the lines disappear. But I thought it was a really cute attempt at simplifying a rather complex structure. But you can see it's probably the edges of walls, like the curved wall here. Uh, Here, this might be a pillar edge, and so on and so forth. Just bringing it down. Just, it's one of those things where, again, the smaller you go, the more likely the details will disappear as you back away from it. So it was a little tricky to get a good screenshot of it, but I hope I did well enough. But yeah, I love all of the little details that, again, sticks to the resolution of, it being French related. They've gotten, not only a little painting, but the book with the flag colors, the little food item and everything. It just really suits it really nicely. I think the canvas of the painting is, again, another one of the gear trophies, and then they've just trimmed it with the edges of a couple of the walls to make it look like almost like a wall scroll of sorts. But really cute. This could be easily something you could just, instead of having a traditional bedroom or office, you could add little details like this to kind of give some extra character to a particular room. So that was Tess Firebrick, aka Leigh Reynolds's projects for the January CBDC. Next, we head on to Zafira Ezere, aka Aurora's plot. Now, Aurora's we've toured in the past. I wouldn't doubt she's added some extra stuff, but definitely all of these places are well worth a visit in person if you can. We're just going to run and skip to the bunker house where she keeps all her CBDC stuffs. So, like Leigh, Aurora has gone well above and beyond by creating several projects. So the first one we will take a look at is I need to slow down a bit, is the Leaning Tower of Pisa, I think is what it's called. Yeah, visiting Italy was one of the resolutions. So I'm not sure why it's in this like Ghostbusters goop, but I thought it was a really cute idea. Got the whole leaning aspect, got the nice use of arches and pillars. I'm not sure. I guess that's floors that's being used, and then some cylinders and stuff for the sections, the little tiered bits. I imagine Aurora created one and then just replicated it and sized it however they needed to. They'll do that. Yeah, that looks like floors, and then the cylinder there. Maybe a dome. It's hard to tell. Looks like a dome up at the tippy top. Even a little faux door. It looks like another dome, some pillars, and then that Draken wall. the majority of it, I think, is the granite versions of its building blocks. They're really cute. Oh, is it supposed to be grass? I thought it was like gloopy snot or something. I guess it's just my sickliness trying to come through. Okay, so it's a patch of grass. My bad. Correct me up. But yeah, I like the idea. You know, I've done some older CBDCs before. I kept it more for my guild, and we did landmarks. This would have been a great one for that. Okay, so the next one is, I think, or I phrased it as to eating more healthy is another resolution that they chose to portray. So this one is like the scales, and the implication is that eating healthier, this little salad here, is better for you than the yucky, junky hamburger. But I mean, look at the detail and the ideas of the items used for the weigh scale itself. You've got plates, hanging chains, you've got some cylinders here in different places. You've got, I think that's is that the horn? I think it's that really long, weird little horn piece. And then the vases being used to join that in with some cylinders or domes for the bottom. Notice the color shifting of the plates. I think even the horn was color shifted too, because I think that's actually a brown. I'm not really sure. Some other types of plants here on the ends. Then the burger itself is, wow, there's like a lot of weird stuff here. It looks like a couple of tacos, uh, like in back to back, being used as the filler for the sandwich, and then of course domes for the buns. And then I love the salad. The salad has a lot of detail too. If I can get a good shot of this, you can see there's, of course, the bowl for the salad, but there's also pillows for, like, I guess, tomatoes. There's some kind of a purple rib cage in there. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like onions or something. There's the cheese wedges, of course. Then they've even put together some of these little eggs. Look at those little eggs, little egg halves. I'm not sure what they're using for that. It looks like a color shifted dome with snow clumps. I think that's what that is. Oh, I was right about the onions. I'm not a big fan of onions, so I would never put those in my salad, but very clever on the eggs. With that color shifting option, it opens up so much, because I know a lot of people usually have to use the either the orange windows, or they use the I think Aurora's used the yellow spots on the mushrooms. But in this situation, I think that wouldn't have worked very well. So it's really nice that we had the opportunity to have the color shifting, get that in there. No clumps and domes. Yay! I'm still doing okay with identifying stuff. The next one is a little painting Aurora put together, a little mural almost, to represent visiting parents more often. So it's reminiscent of my little geisha girl thingamabobs I played around with. So it's really cute that Aurora has taken that a little step further to, like, kind of almost tell a little bit of a story. Using I guess it's the red fireworks, the white part of it, as the face, and I think even as the hands. And then adding, of course, the tires for different hairstyles. So you got the young girl hairstyle, you got the almost the grandma looking style, and then the grandpa looking with, like, he's balding. Using it also for his little beard here. For the young girl, she's got like a little jumper outfit on. Um, Maybe it's a guy, I don't know. I'm saying it's a girl, but it could be a guy. Looks like Chua pillows for most of that. Um, looks like stones for the shoes. You've even got the little traveling suitcase. Looks like a couple of hanging cables, maybe. Um, the actual suitcase, and then the top end, or I should say bottom of the vent tank for the wheel. Could have used an actual wheel, in fact, if you'd wanted. Um, the mom's outfit is a couple of those vases with the flowers. Looks like red fireworks again for the lips. Grandma's glasses, mom's glasses. Looks like the actual edge of glasses, like the top of a glass. Really cute. Clever way of making that. And then the dad's outfit is books for his like suspenders and stones, I think, for most of his bits here. Looks like tires for his shoes as well. Well, I'm glad you found a fun use for them because they really are adorable. And you know, if what I make inspires somebody to put something together that's you know, even better, that's fantastic. I like even the little building. This would be great for like someone that's wanting to do like a theater scene. This is a great way to do like a backdrop, having the building just perfectly flat using the ladders as the railing, a little bit of overgrowth. You know, it doesn't have to have a whole lot of detail because you know it's just a prop on the stage, but this would be perfect use of that. I think this is another book, isn't it? The ground, and then the oversized trophy, gear trophy, I think, for the canvas, whatever. I'm sure there's some pieces I've missed, but looks great. I love it. And last but not least, again, I thought that the knitting thing was a little off the wall, but apparently a lot of people want to learn how to knit. So this is Aurora's take on that same theme that we had earlier, just a little bit further. So you've got the color shifted dome or cylinder for the little carpet here. You've got color shifted, what do you call them, tribal mats. And I'm not sure what's being used for the little bits that are attached to the knitting needles. But it looks like I'm really not sure what those what this are. But the knitting needles themselves looks like the edges of those Chua the Cosmotronic fences. That's what it looks like to me. Um, yeah, you can see it kind of lit up here. It's those ones with the like little heart rate little design that goes through it. But I don't know what's being used for these little bits here. It could be, or are those Draken fences? Okay, it's either Draken or Granite because it looks a little stony too. But it could be the Draken ones. That's right. Hanging cables for the strewn out little wool threads or whatever, the yarn. The balls of yarn, Aurora told me that they were inspired by my many uses of the tires. I typically use the tires as hair. We did that with the Frankencake. We did that with the Bride of Frankenstein. I used it with the geisha dolls. The latest thing I think I did with them was I actually turned a little ball of tires into a little dog. So we made a little puppy for the holidays. So this was a fun play on that, is to use it as a ball of yarn. It works really good. It's got that overlapping crisscrossing like you would normally expect for a ball of yarn. The only thing was Aurora had to pay the price of color shifting them. So We see kind of an off bluish green, green, brown, and pink. Um, but yeah, it's oh, you can't follow the pattern. I've never ever picked it up. I think one time we did something called macrame in like art class when I was really, really little, and I made an owl, and that was like the only thing. I forgot how to make the special like knots or whatever you're supposed to do. Is like I just don't have the patience for it. Um, I know my mother-in-law tried to get me into cross stitching because that's what she does. She likes the cross stitching, and I kept messing it up. So I was like, I'd like get so far into it and just get frustrated and just never touch it again. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It just looks like a little ball of yarn, and you used it greatly. The little knitting basket here is, of course, the fireworks box, the crate. I'm not sure what's being used here. I think it's a file, and just made some color shifted to yellow. For the scissors, oh gosh, I'm not sure what those are. I suspect some knives, and then maybe some bowls or something for the handles. I'm not sure. They look much better than the ones I usually come up with. Usually I just use the edges of like the bucket or something. I keep it super simple, but it looks great. Um, looks like Orin windows for buttons, I presume. The end of one of the rolled beach towels for like a little bit of cloth or ribbon or something. For the pin cushion, it's just one of the regular pillows, and then pillars topped with files to make it look like the pins. And of course, color shifted a few of those, which is nice. Was I right about the scissors? Well, oh my gosh. It's almost crazy how I can identify some of it. I can't claim to identify everything correctly because I have made mistakes, but it's still fun to try. Even the table is really cute. I think it's just some domes and that ugly round brown table that I don't like. It looks like two of them just to give it a little extra design. And then that crate again, uh, I think it's the crate top and I think the crate bottom flipped over to make it solid as a little tray for the pincushion and stuff. And of course, we can't forget the little rocking chair. How awesome does this thing look? It's hover part pieces for most of the framework, um, decking pieces for the seating and back, of course the domes for the little accents, and then a couple of throw pillows on there. How crazy is that? That's just, like I said, just plop this in front of a fireplace, you're good to go. Got a nice little rocking chair for that granny. I think that's what I'll have to pick up is kind of a thing. Oh, is there a barnacle weed? What is it, floating around in here somewhere? That's what I do. I forget to like link stuff and then I'll discover it later when I run into it. Yeah, the rocking chair is very adorable. And it looks a good size. I mean, it may be a little big for like a Chua or for an Oran. We might feel a little like kitty-fied in it, but for the other races, it looks like it'd be perfect fit. It's just a shame we can't actually set it up so that you can actually use it like a seat. You just have to kind of, whoops, kind of lag there for a minute. It's like I think if yeah, see, I'm kind of above the seat because the collision from the arms is a little funky. Kind of fake it in like that. But I'm a little floaty, so you have to be careful about how you frame your screenshot. Is it floating behind the chair somewhere? I'm gonna find it. There it is. And And this one would be even harder to find because there's no collision at all on that thing. So you try to do like I did with the hot chocolate. It's just that it looks kind of like half empty. I just want a little bit more full than they've got it originally, so it seemed to work better. But yeah, I do that a lot, and I'll come across it like, what's that plate come from? It must have been something else. Okay, the next one is Trolden Herunger. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, Bones. You guys have some really strange names. Oh, I've done that with all sorts of stuff, plates and cups, and it's usually the things that you kind of have come in small anyway. I've lost a lot of cutlery that way, and just come across and go, that's not right. Okay, I think Bones said it was inside. I think I've been here before, Bones. I didn't realize this was yours. Hey, look there. Troll means troll. Okay, so I believe this was to read more, right? Pretty sure. Looks like a little library thing going on here. Very suitable to a kind of a tribal bit. What I found most interesting was this little honeycomb deal. I've never seen this kind of, I assume it's like almost like safety deposit boxes for uh, scrolls and stuff, because it looks like this is like one of the lids has come off and it reveals the bits. So I'm just not sure what this is. If I just haven't been in the know and this actually represents something from a show uh, or something, but I've never seen it. But I really like it. I imagine somebody would probably use this as a backdrop for a kitchen wall, you know, instead of using the traditional tiles you might see at the back of a cabinet in a kitchen. I see this being used, and imagine what you could do with like the color shifting as well. But yeah, it's just a bunch of the chew-a-cup bottoms, but it's a really interesting little pattern. And again, it's like this is where they store the scrolls and stuff. But I can imagine someone maybe turning these gold color and have like this little beehive thing going on. Be cute for a little kid's room to have some little bees. Um, oh, is it? See, I knew, I had a feeling. I had a feeling. So this is supposed to be reminiscent of Hellboy 2. I've seen that show, and I guess it's been too long. I don't remember. But I like the idea of it. Little storage for the scrolls. I like the start of the staircase too. Looks very rugged. And almost this looks like it's like a continuation here. I like the way that lined up real good with the swirlies. A little off here, but I like this part here for sure. Very flowy. And of course, you got the little reading nook here. Hate that those things glow green. Makes it look weird. Yeah, any of the bowl edges, the glasses. There's some of the pillows that you could probably use for that shape, but this looks really good. It's just very costly because just think of how many cups are being used for just this little tiny space. So you'd want to use it, you know, That's why I said, maybe like at the back of, like right above a countertop in the kitchen, just that small little bit, and do that. Maybe not this small, but maybe a little bigger, just to conserve on pieces used, and then color shift it. I think that might be. Of course, maybe the shifting doesn't work because the shifting is a little tricky depending on what items you're trying to color shift. The color doesn't show up as brightly as you would hope for some things, but I suspect that with the silver, it would probably show up pretty good. Okay, so did we see everything, or I think that was it in here. I'll have to definitely come back and take a closer look when you're done with it. Oh, that's the way you did it. I like the color shifting of the bottles. Again, it's just an extra way of us getting more bits and pieces, but it gets a little harder for me to try and identify something because I don't recognize it in the wrong color. Okay, next one is, I gotta make sure I spell this right. Lopalicious Cupcake, aka Faye. Well, it was like some of the doors. I tried color shifting some of the doors, and it looks more like you can kind of see it, but it's like really subtle. The main thing that shifts is like the trim, like the latches and stuff. And I really want more of the door to shift, not the brackets and everything. But that's how it goes. So Faye's little project is they put it down to learn how to draw, but I suspect it could be interpreted as also to maybe learn how to paint or whatever. But you can see that there's no brushes. It's just, it looks more like, I don't know, chalk pieces or color sticks or whatever. They're kind of stubby, so I don't really get the pencil jive. But uh, you've seen those like little, I don't know what they call them, uh, chalk or um, I don't know. I can't think of the name of it, but I like how the little palette here is just loaded with different colors, smears and blops and everything. You even have a little bit of it on the ground here. Those are the eye splotches just turned upside down. The little table itself looks like they tried to kind of organize it. There's a little bit of fence pieces here, 2x4s, and of course the Oran tree table right in the middle. And of course, for all of the different colors, you can see there's some of the fireworks being used, bottle bottoms, bowl bottoms. Again, some color shifting has gone into it, like the purple splotch is now red here. Um, Even with the red rocket, they've color shifted that. And this gives you an idea how little the tip of the red rocket is affected until you get to this one. This one looks more affected than the others. Oh, there is a paintbrush. Never mind. So again, it could be, yeah, crayons. I think that was what I was thinking of. Gosh, I'm so daft this morning. Does it? That doesn't seem good. It seems a little weird, Bones. Yeah, I guess I should mention there are those two sky options, the Pulp Starfield and then what's the other one? They both basically turn the plots black and white, but there's a little difference between the two. You can get those on the cash shop. There's been so much that's gone on this last couple of weeks. I felt bad because I wasn't really staying up with it, but I like the little box or tray that I'm going to call them crayons, like Aurora says. It's just 2x4s. It looks a little makeshift, but I think it's, kind of looks like something, like an old little case that you might have put all your collected stuff in. We've got some of those upside down I think it's the propane tanks here, presumably for, maybe it's paint thinner or some kind of cleaner or just buckets of paint. We've also got a bucket, and then probably the more fun part is the easel made out of 2x4s. A lot of detail on that, a lot more pieces than, usually you just have the little tripod thing and then a little bar on the bottom and leave it at that. But this one really took it to another level. There's even the bar here. There's the framework in the back of the picture. And of course, the Chua rug is being used as a finished painting, finished work. Yeah, a cute idea. Again, it's like using these walls and then you've got some of the portraits too, just intermixing them. It gives the indication that, okay, these are some finished canvases and these are canvases that are ready to be worked on. Yeah, again, something like that, while they have it out here in the open, um, uh, you could have this in a personal residence in one of the rooms, instead of having a study, or maybe inside the study, you could have a little section where you've got your little artistic outlet there. On top of a hill, you could get like, say maybe you have this picture as the completed bit, and then have a scene look like that. That would be cool to have it look like you've actually painted the scene that you're looking at. But anyway, that is Lay's. And then the last one for today is from Maddie. And this one is, I believe the resolution was to get more exercise. Now, Maddie admitted that they kind of cheated because they were already planning to make I guess, an exercise room, and this was just kind of a bonus that, they'd already planned to do it and just kind of fit, and that's okay. Again, I know we haven't seen this one yet, but it's not complete from what I understand, so I'm really not aiming to show all of it. And this one is tricky. You have to really kind of angle your camera just right to get it to light up. But if you go inside the bunker house, you come up on this little gym area. Now there's actually rooms up above, but they're not furnished yet. They have different color shifting to indicate whatever they represent, and little glimpses to like an outdoors in each one. And of course they've got that lovely railing here. I'm not for positive what they're using for the little pillar bits. It looks like the tiki roofs, but I honestly don't know what those are. It's unbeknownst to me what that possibly is, but it's just framed glass and then those little beams. But the real thing here is the gym itself. You can see it looks like they're using firework parts, the sticks, the rocket ones, for these little beams here all the way around. Color shifted mattresses for the mats. I think these are the Protostar bombs. They've just got 2 of them. And then it looks like maybe, I don't know if it comes with, I want to say those, it's just all one piece. Let me have a look. Bomb. Yeah, it's just end to end. So that's the bomb itself, and then they've just put 2 of them together to make the little, what do you call them, dumbbells or whatever. So lots of those here along the mats. And notice the mattresses work really well because they, they could use them as mats because they sunk it down into the flooring. Now the floor itself, I honestly am not sure what that is. It looks to me like one of the gear trophies that's been color shifted to a blue, but it could be something totally different. I have no idea. Maybe these are barbells and these are dumbbells, or the other way around, barbells here and dumbbells there. I'm not sure. Maybe it's one and the same thing. But these here are tires, the Soul Frost wells, and the Cassian candle fireworks for the little bits there. Using some of those Palavar Point daily rewards, I think it's the L-shaped pipe for the little holders, and then of course Cassian pillars for the framework. These here have the seat, so it's a giant detonator. Yeah, it could be, because I think this is purple and then red, blue, kind of matching, I guess, sort of the coloring there. The same way with these. This looks like a candy stick because of the pink. These are the graded floor panels for the backing of the seat. And then the yellow pillow, I think it is, color shifted. I like this one here. It looks really nice, the white. See how some items take the colors really nice and others not so nice. You see, even the detonators are colored themselves to match the scheme of each one. Here you have some of those Red Moon stools. This, I believe, is the end cap. Something else you can also get from the Palavar Point Daily, being used as the little snack table, grab a drink of water, that kind of thing. This is just the clunky fire extinguisher. They just pushed it down so you don't see the hose. Over here, of course, we've got the lovable and loud treadmills. Not much you can really do to top the actual treadmill that we have in game. I've seen a few make different types, but you know, it's hard to beat the animation that comes with it. Plus the noise, I guess, kind of helps too. But here are a couple of items that you might like. This, I think you pull this thing and slide along on the seat. Again, it's pillars, the graded floor panel, to a pillow for the cushion, the detonator for the little pull thingy, travel posters for the whole contraption here, and then of course one of the Dominion panels color shifted as well. But I love the exercise bike. Nice cushy seat made out of purple round pillows. Looks like tires on the bottom part. You've got the cushion part. Look at the Soul Frost. It found its way in here too. Even this piece is one of the Soul Frost bits, I believe. A couple of the L-shaped pipes for the pedals, the suitcases. You've got suitcases for the base of the bike. Handlebars are the, forget what color, it's one of the fireworks. It's usually, I think, blue with orange, and they've color shifted it to make it that dull gray. This too, I think, is some more of that piping, and then of course I think it's the advanced thermometer. This might be a little troublesome for some to get a hold of, but I don't think it's that hard of an item to get a hold of. If you kind of keep an eye on the auction house, I think I see it pretty regularly up there. I'm not sure where it comes from though. I think this is part of the engine pipe or something, and they've used that for the handlebars. It looks really great though. Yeah, did an awesome job. All right, Bones, we're getting ready to wrap up here anyway. About the only thing you're going to miss is the official announcement of this month's CBDC, but you can catch up on that when you get back. All right, have a good day, Bones. Don't work too hard. And of course, the beach balls. You know, you're gonna have some bouncy balls to roll around on. There are some other things here, but again, this isn't a complete plot, so I think it was mostly just the focus of this gym, which I thought was super adorbs. Again, we've seen many different versions, but this is probably one of my favorite. And it really might be partly due to the color shifting to just bring some colorfulness to it, to make it a little bit more personalized. Yeah, there you go. So that's it for the showcase part. I did want to go ahead and make it official that we are doing I'm going to call it the romance theme for February. I'm just going to read you the bit that I'll be posting later in the forums if I can get my paper to come off of there. I basically just say February is known as an occasion for chocolates, roses, and Valentines. There's no better time than now to inject a little love and happiness into WildStar by participating in this month's CBDC theme, Romance. As a special component to this month's challenge, you will be provided with a custom prefab cottage, a little book house. So we'll go ahead and visit Sicily to show that. It has a total of 231 decor pieces, no glass panels, so you'll have to insert your own glass. I specifically wanted to leave the glass out in case somebody wanted to, you know, put something else there. So it won't include any of these extras that I've added onto it since we put it first together. It's just going to be the basic brown wall, books, the roof, the porch. It won't include this little bit here, and none of the glass for the windows and stuff. None of this, none of the flower beds. It's just going to be a very basic cottage. All the pieces are direct from the housing vendor, so you won't have to like grind up anything or craft anything special for it. But it will cost approximately 27 gold to install it. Well, that's okay, Aurora. Like our modular house challenge from the past, there are a few rules you will need to observe if you decide to participate. You may not remove or change out any of the pieces that come with the prefab cottage. So whatever you get, leave it as is. Don't remove anything. Don't like knock out a wall to put in a door or something like that. That kind of deal. You may resize it to better suit your character's height if you feel it's a little too confined for a larger character. Mine's pretty snug, and she's an Orin, so I can imagine a Granok or something trying to walk around in here. It might feel really claustrophobic, so you're going to be allowed to resize it a little bit. Just don't go too extreme. It's meant to be a small, compact little cottage type of deal. So, you know, keep that in mind when you go about resizing it. But I'll leave that to your guys' discretion. You may add to, decorate it inside and out however you wish, using whatever decor you like. While I have stuck really heavily to the book theme, that by no means it means that you have to. If you don't want to do that, you know, please don't. That's just me being goofy on sticking with the books. So like if you don't want to make it a traditional cottage with like a bed or a fireplace or a kitchen or everything, you can just make it a little tea house if you want. If you just want to people walk in and have a little place where you've got some pillows that sit around a little table and you've got your own little tea bits going on. If you want to do it that way, that's fine. You can use the cottage however you want. If you want to make the cottage just the little tool shed to the side of this bigger house, that's up to you. But I'm giving you this small little thing, and you have to incorporate it somehow into your build. As part of your project, you may include as much or as little of the yard. So that was what I was trying to show you with this little tiered thing that I tried putting together before. Um, uh, do as much or as little of that as you wish, including any extra features you feel will suit or enhance your build, like a water feature, a garage, a garden, a barn, a gazebo, etc. Just whatever you feel like will work. Like we did the little water well over here, or planter, whatever you want to call it. Your project must include at least one custom heart or heart-shaped feature. So if all you do is add a little heart to your little porch here like I did, that'll work. If you want to make stepping stones the shape of hearts, that'll work. Um, and I will add the note, it does not have to be red. So if you want to go with different colors, like I haven't used any red at all in mine so far, that's perfectly fine. It's not required. Basically, keep the build small or go as big as you like. That is entirely up to you, as long as you keep to the romance theme and incorporate the prefab cottage into it in some way. As usual, this challenge will be open to both regions, factions, and participants are asked to make sure that their project plots are open to the public to facilitate screenshots taken by me for Twitter spam and, of course, the showcase tour. So we know that the tour and everything will be towards the end of the month, so you don't have to open it up to the public right away. You can wait until like that last week or the day before if you want, as long as I have access to it at some point to be able to take some screenshots for myself and to, of course, be able to visit it during a tour for the showcase. How to obtain your copy of the prefab cottage set code. You can do that by contacting me via Twitter, Twitch, Forum PM, or in-game mail. If you're going to do it in-game mail, I'm Carrot Greenleaf. Doesn't matter what region, I go by the same name on each side. And provide the following information. I need to know what region your character is on, the name of the character of the plot you will be building your project on, where the project will be, like if you're planning to put it in the bunker house, if you're planning to put it behind the main house that you already have, you know, just a general idea so I don't have to go running around hunting for it. For those that are contacting me via Twitter and Twitch and stuff like that, I will warn you, I will probably be asking for your official WildStar forum handle because the code for the set is rather long and I have to chop it up, and rather than kind of confuse people, I think it's better if it gets sent all in one go. So I think it would be best if we do that via the forums, because I don't think there's a character limitation on that, or at least it's a lot longer than the Twitter one is, because I tested it on Bones's reply thing. I mean, I didn't send it to Bones, but I tested it there, and it was just way too long. So rather than confuse folks that might already have trouble setting up an import like this, I think it'd be better just to do it through Forum PM. If you'd prefer to do it through email, that's fine too. If you feel comfortable sharing your email with me, that's doable as well. But I think I'll probably require that you share your forum handle so I can get to you that way. Alternatively, if it's more convenient for you, such as if you're not familiar with using Katya's Builder Toolkit and have never imported a code before, but you still want to participate, then I will be happy to arrange an in-game meeting so that I can install it for you myself. This would, of course, require a temporary roommate status of my character to your plot, but again, that'll be your determination if whether or not you trust me or not with that. Let's see, and then closer to the end of the month, when you've finished your project, you are more than welcome to update me with any additional information, completely optional. For example, maybe it's inspired by an actual person you care about. Maybe you built it for your wife or your husband, or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, items you may have used, how many pieces if you want to go that far, and any other trivia that you might want to include. And I will, of course, share that in the showcase. So I think that's it. Aura's asking. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can fit through it or not, honestly. Uh, but if you think you can manage it, as long as you don't remove any of the pieces, um, you can try it. Uh, like I said, I purposely built it the way I did. What you might could do is if you're determined to add on some extensions and I forbade you making a hole for a door, you might could get away with putting a faux door here to join another section to the back, for example, and then have an actual open door at the back to get into that extra room or area of the house, however you want to do it. Mostly, I just wanted to kind of keep it so that people didn't completely change the whole structure of the house just to suit whatever they want. Because I want to kind of give everybody a, a, a uniform starting point. So if you decide if you can fit through the window as a doorway and you decide to make it into some kind of a extension if you want, that kind of thing, that's perfectly fine if that's the way you want to go it. Just don't remove anything because again, I'm trying to keep it as level ground as possible, that everybody starts off with the same basic little layout and then go from there. But if I start saying, well, you can open up this part, then someone goes, well, can I just remove this whole section? And then they make a long bit, or, you know, maybe they don't like the way the roof is turned or whatever and stuff like that. So I'm hoping I'm not limiting it too much. That's why I say if you want to make this a little, uh, I don't know, garden house next to your big house, that's, your option, as long as this is used in some way. I'm calling it a cottage and I'm going to be treating it that way from mine. But I mean, you can see I've already got the couch or futon that would fold out to a bed. And I've got a little TV going on. But not everybody's going to see it that way. And it is pretty confined, so it's not like you can do a whole lot in there. But it should be fun to see um, how people interpret it and be able to incorporate it somehow. So yeah, I hope you guys are excited about it. I am. I think the last time we had quite a bit of interest in it. It might not be that much so this time because it is kind of a weird little build, but hopefully we have enough that we have several to look at least by the end of the month. Again, uh, the code is long, so I don't think I'll be able to send it through Twitter without breaking it up several times. So I prefer not to do that. So again, if you're going to reach out to me, you'll need to, yeah, I haven't updated it yet. You'll need to let me know what your forum handle name is. I think I know some of you, but just to make sure I don't get confused, I'll probably just ask everybody to submit that. And I need to write that down that I need to update the CBDC thing. I thought I was ahead of it, but I knew I was going to forget something. But I will be posting that hopefully before lunch. If you have any, want to go over the details again, or uh, just want to make sure you understood me right or whatever, I will be posting that hopefully before lunchtime, which is a few hours from now. And hopefully I didn't cut off too much. I know it's not exactly the first of the month. It's a few days in already, but I'm hoping it'll still be enough time for you guys to put something together. If I hear from enough of you saying, can you extend it a week or something, then I might consider that. But I'm hoping that what time we have left this month will still be enough. It's just a few days you guys have missed, hopefully. But I will try and get those out to you as quickly as possible for those of you that decide you want to participate. And So yeah, great to be back. Thank you so much for the warm welcome back. I appreciate it. And of course, I appreciate all the follows, the tweets, the retweets, the votes, the just general support. It's been amazing. And I hope that this is the start of uh, us back in business full time. All right, Aurora, I'm going to write the name down. Let's see, you had it. Uh, where is that? Let me write the name down before I forget. I can drop by after I'm done here if you want. Okay, so again, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the showcase, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with for this month's CBDC. Um, Tomorrow we'll probably just be working on my version of it, hopefully to spur some ideas for your own builds. And then of course Wednesday we'll be kicking off on the house tours again. I'm going to have to go through my notes and see where we are on that because I've already forgotten who was next in line, but we'll get that going again and we'll see where we go from there. Until then, hope you guys have a great day. Good luck with your projects, whatever they may be, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.